this video, we are going to build a Code Llama application using Gradio as a framework. So we are going to build that on our CPU. Okay, so we are going to download the model from Hugging Face. So we are going to leverage the Code Llama-7B-instruct the GGUF. So that is the new GGML. All right, so I already have a video on Code Llama that runs on the free version. So I have a preview on that. So you can get into my videos, get the video and get access to that. Okay. All right. So we are going to be implementing the use of Code Llama-7B-instruct. That is the GGUF. All right. So it is a new format that is introduced by the llama.ccp CPP. All right. So it is really extensive and it has some benefits to that. Okay, so the key benefit of the GGUF is that it includes significantly improved tokenization code, including the first time full support for special tokens. So this improves performance, especially with models that uses special tokens and as well implement custom prompt template. So additionally, the GGUF is designed to be more flexible than its predecessor, that is the GGML. Okay, right. So we are going to leverage this GGUF, the 7B instruct, to build this application. So we're going to see how that is going to be improved. Okay, so I'm going to show you how you can get access to this model. So we can as well use any version of the instruct. Okay, so let me show you how you can do that. So get to files and versions. You can go in here and you will download any version. So for this video, we'll be using the GGUF. So far as it ends with the GGUF, you can choose any of these models depending on your memory size. Okay, so at the end of this video, we are going to build an application like this one where the user can input any coding problem in the text box and you have the option to clear that away. So I'm going to give an example on how to build this. Okay, and let's see a very simple code on how it executes the output. So I'm going to say create a Python program that takes an integer as input and prints even if the number is even and odd if the number is odd. So let's see how this works. All right, so let's see. It's a very simple question. So create a Python program that takes an integer as an input and prints if the number is even or odd if odd. All right, so it says if and divisible by 2's, meaning if the remainder is 0, it's going to print even, else print odd. Okay, all right, so this took some time depending on the size memory that you have and the system that you are using. Okay, so something that we should take note of. So you can ask several questions that you want to ask. So you can hit on clear and you can clear the inputs and the output and start a new input. Okay, so let's build this. All right, so let me create a new terminal and we need some requirement. So we're gonna need the C transformers to load a model from Hugging Face Gradio as a framework, the Langchain, of course, to create our chains, get our LLMs. All right, and so we are using the 7B instruct, the queue for this one I just showed. Okay, so you get here and you can download it. Okay, you hit on download and that's it. So I have that here. Okay, so within the code, we are going to, so let me show you how you can create your environment. Say Python dash env. When you hit enter, it's going to create an environment for you right here. Okay, and if you have to install the requirement, you're going to say pip install dash r requirements.txt, and when you hit enter, it's going to take some few minutes to install. Okay, right. So we are going to so from Langchain.llms, we are importing the C transformers to load our model. From Hugging Face, the LLM to create our chains. You create the LLM chains, and from Langchain we import the prompt template to pass our instructions, and Gradio as the framework, and import time, right, just to create a more conversational base. Right, so let's start by, let's load the model. We're going to say code, I'm going to name it Code Llama model. I'm going to use my C transformers. I'm going to pass the model. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here and I say rename. I'm going to copy this. I'm going to paste it here. Paste it. I'm going to name it .gguf. Right. I'm going to pass in some config configurations. I'm going to say max new tokens. I'm going to give it 512. Set the temperature. I'm going to set it to 0.30, 0.3. Right, so that controls the randomness of the output. Okay, so if you give it more than, so the higher the temperature, it's going to change the output anytime you run it. All right, so next I want to create a template. So create template. I'm going to name it prompt template. So this is what is going to take our instructions. I'm going to pass this in. Right. So I have some few instructions here. I want to copy that and paste it. So I'm saying you are an expert AI coding assistant, tasked with solving coding problems and providing code snippets based on their user's query. I'm going to pass the query here and say here is a helpful code snippet. All right. So this is what I'm going to pass it. So we're going to pass our query in the prompt template. All right. So the next thing is let's set up the radio interface. So I'm going to say with ER for the Gradio. I'm going to create some blocks. That's blocks. I'm going to create a block. I'm going to name it, call it title. I'm going to pass it a name. I'm going to say Code Llama-7B. So guys, you can put it any type of model, Code Llama model that you want. Okay. Just for this demonstration, we are using the 7B instruct. You can go for the 13B instruct. I'm going to say we are going to name it as Code Llama demo. Okay. Pretty simple. I'm going to create a variable chat box. I'm going to name it chatbot. So we are creating a chatbot. Okay. So I'm going to pass an element lm id. Okay. And so we have, for this demonstration, we are naming it chatbot. Okay. So this is going to create the interface. I'm going to name it height will be 500. So it's going to be the height of the interface. It's going to display the output. So I'm going to say input user input is equal to, so we are creating a text box for the user to input the query. So call that, I'm going to clear button. So GL that's creating a clear button for the user to clear the input and the output for the next one. So we are passing the user input in the chatbot. Okay. So let's create a function that will generate the response. Generates a response, and we are going to pass the query in. We are creating a variable called a prompt, and we are passing our prompt template. Okay, and we are saying the template is equal to the prompt template. Okay, so we are passing our prompt template right here. Okay, and input variable, we are passing our query. So what is the input variable? The input variable is what the user is inputting. Okay, so within the prompt template, we are passing our prompt template and the user and the query. Okay, and so let's create a chain. So we are inside the variable, inside the chain. So the LLM chain, we are passing our prompt is equal to the prompt and the LLM going to be the Code Llama model. Very simple. Okay, and let's create a response variable. We are passing the chain, and we say chain.run. And what we want to do now is a query. We assign our query to the query. Okay. That is what the user is going to input in to get a response. Okay, so it's going to run through the chain and give the response. All right, so now we want to return the response. Right. Okay. All right, so this the generate response function takes the query as an input and is responsible for generating a response based on the user's query. It uses the custom print template and that was defined earlier. So it creates the LLM chain with the specified Code Llama model and uses it to generate a response. All right, very simple. So now we want to say create a chat with box. See, this it's going to handle the interaction between the user and the chatbot. Okay, so chat with bot, we are passing the message and we are passing the chat history. Okay. We are saying the message from the bot is equal to the generate response. Okay, so what the response was generated after passing the query, we are going to keep that to the bot, so that's been a bot message. Okay, and we are passing our message and that history and we are passing the message in the bot message. Right, so guys, I'm going to explain that to you briefly, and I'm giving it some time just to create a conversational page. And I'm going to say to, all right, and we want to return. What do we want to return? We want to return the chat history. All right. So the chat with bot is used to handle the interaction between the user and the chatbot. It calls the generate response function to get the bot's response to the chat history. So it introduces the delay, 2-second delay between the message to create a more conversational pace. All right, so let's call the user input and make a submit. The chat, let's start with bot and the user input and the chatbot. And again, we are going to do the user input and the chatbot. Right, so this is nothing but it connects the user input to the chatbot function, allowing the user queries to be processed. Okay, all right, so now let's execute that by calling the Code Llama model and dots. Let's launch it. So that's very simple. We are creating a model and passing the prompts template, giving some instruction, and we are passing our query to get the instructions and creating the interface. Okay, chatbots create the interface, give a height of 500, and we are creating a box, text box, and a clear button to clear the inputs and the output, and we generate a response by passing the query, and we are creating a template and passing our chain and getting the response, and we are creating the chat with bot. We are passing and missing the chat history. Okay, just to create a conversational chain between the bot and the user, right? And we are returning we this line is connecting the user input to the chat with bot function and allowing the user queries to be processed. And now we want to launch it. So let me save that and let me run that by saying Python app.py. Right, so let me hit on this and let me follow the link. All right, perfect. It looks worked. So let's ask a question and let me say I'm going to say write a Python code snippet to create a list of all even numbers from 1 to 20. A list comprehension. Let me hit enter. Let's wait for the response. I'm getting an error. Let's see what the error is. Okay. Which line is that? See, line 28, getting an error. Template is equal to template. From template, input variable is equal to query chain. Okay, so let's see. Let me save this and refresh it again. Enter. Okay, let me run that again. Okay, so let me copy this one and let me paste it again. Enter. All right, perfect. So we have an output to write a code snippet that creates a list of even numbers from 1 to 20. So it's creating a variable even numbers for I in range 1 to 21. If I divides by 2, giving a remainder of 0. Right. So I think this is quite good. Right. So you can just play around with it. So let me just see ask another question. Okay, let me say write a Python function that takes a string as an input and returns the reverse of that string. All right, and hit enter. All right, perfect. All right, so I said write a Python function that takes a string as input and returns the reverse of that string. Ensure it handles both single words and full words. And it says that, all right, so it creates a function, reverse string with an input string and returns the input string counting from the last verse. Okay. All right. So this is awesome. Um, yes, a note if you get stuck, try running your function with different input to see how it behaves. All right. All right. I think this is a good starting point. So, guys, you can play with this and also use that in the different languages, in a different programming languages, and see how it works. Yeah, I hope you like this video. Don't forget to subscribe and share. See you in the next one.